One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Okay, they told me cover politics. You'll like politics. People are into politics. People want to hear political news and what's going on. Besides, you'll have your nights and your weekends off. It'll be a breeze compared to covering the Miami Dolphins. I guess these people never realize what you have to do in a Trump administration. Today is one of those days where the little bit of hair on my head, I feel like I need to just pull it out. There is so much happening right now. So to bring you up to speed, President Trump is supposed to be meeting with the big grand poopas of Rwanda and Congo and signing a peace agreement. That was supposed to be the big news today. And then, I don't know, about 2 hours ago, news exploded with the fact that they had arrested somebody in conjunction with the whole pipe bombing thing. And that has just wiped everything off the table, and it's pipe bomber, pipe bomber, pipe bomber, the story is right now. And then Kash Patel and Pam Bondi posted that they're going to be doing a press conference at 1 o'clock. And so you're trying to juggle schedules here, so I'm just telling you all this because I don't know what's going to happen. Because it is absolutely insane. In addition to this, the Democrats are going crazy, doing anything they possibly can to fight everything and anything Trump. They seem to love Somalis, they seem to love narco-terrorists, and now they seem to hate and arrest with the pipe bomber. I have to wonder sometimes if these people are even American because of what's happening. So, because there's so much happening fluid, I am going to be on and off camera. This isn't my new studio, as you can tell. This is the old studio, but I'm using some of the equipment in the new studio so that I can have feeds from various sources. Obviously, we're going to have Trump with the Rwandans and the people from Congolese and bring them in. And in addition, we're monitoring the broadcast network, which I'm going to cut to right now because it's extremely interesting. This dude, his name has been released. I think they said his name was Tim Cole of Virginia. They've got his house surrounded. And with his house surrounded, they're all making all kinds of searches. So this thing is fluid, as they say. It is going crazy. So here's what I'm going to do, because obviously I have to prepare and figure out what I'm going to do. We're going to cut to President Trump as soon as he comes on, as soon as they're in the Oval Office or at the podium with what they're going to do. In the interim, I'm going to show you some of the news that's happening on air right now about this guy's house. And then at 1 o'clock, we're going to cover the entire press conference as we normally would. So if you indulge me, right now I want to cut to some information about this guy's house that they're searching.
Political parties. This is a terrorist act. You're trying to kill, destroy, depending on how strong those pipe bombs were, as many people as possible. But again, I go back to what's fundamentally on my mind is the connections. Was he acting alone? Was this supposed to be a diversion from other things that were happening on January 6th? Was this tied to the protest of January 6th? Or was it totally independent as a sole deranged person? That's what I want to hear at a news conference.
Yeah, Lisa, I come back to you because that's almost a follow-up.
Yeah, and hopefully we get some answers, too. I mean, look, the American people have been begging for transparency in all of this since January 6th. It was a huge talking point for the left heading into that midterm election, as well as even heading into the 2024 presidential election. Americans just deserve the truth, honesty, transparency. So I hope we get that in this press conference, laying out everything they know, telling the truth to the American people. But it's a good day that this individual that he's been caught.
Well, I go back to what Clay Travis told me.
Yeah, and see, that kind of stuff bothers me because all they're doing is what I was doing. They're trying to burn time with opinions. Nobody knows yet. Nobody knows what's going on. I could be on Fox TV saying that. I could be saying, hey, I hope they show us transparency and tell us what the hell's going on. Well, obviously, they're not going to tell you that. It is an ongoing investigation. Quit being stupid. They're going to be digging into every aspect of this guy's life. And just looking at this home in this nice area of Virginia, doesn't look like it's a guy who's, down on his luck. I mean, as you can see his house, let me go ahead and just push that back over so you can see the property. Let me just take a look at this.
Or if this is a new residence for him, but they are treating it with forensic respect and making sure that there are no explosive devices or bomb-making materials that could be that. So as we watch this scene, we'll take a quick break and come back with the breaking news. Stay close.
All right, so you're looking at a house with a 2-car garage, 2 stories, probably 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on a lot of land. This isn't some loner. This isn't some guy who, just was down on his luck and all of a sudden decided he wanted to go out and, plant pipe bombs. In addition, from what we understand, hopefully we will hear this in the press conference, these were not sophisticated in terms of having any radio device or something to detonate. Was there a second person who was supposed to go and do the detonation? Were they even live? Were they bombs that were capable of doing damage? What was the intent of these bombs? Was it to, if the January 6th thing didn't work, they were going to detonate bombs and say they were Trump supporters bombing different places? How did you come across the information? I doubt we're going to get every question answered. I know everybody wants every answer right now. You're probably not going to get that. And I'm pretty sure, not being a cop myself, if Maximus is in the chat, he can probably tell you, this wasn't a overnight investigation. They've been looking at things for quite some time. And they obviously had to make absolutely sure that every T was crossed and every I was dotted before they pulled the proverbial trigger. They had to do that. They had to make sure that everything was in its place. I do have a video from John Solomon, I believe this is. Yeah, let's listen to this.
They were zeroing in on a gentleman whom they arrested this morning in Northern Virginia. And the way this case was cracked was about a month or 6 weeks ago. Bongino, who was the lead on it, and Patel decided to take the old agents off the case and put a new team on it. Now, there was a little resistance, as there always is in the FBI, to any form of change. But the new team came in. They applied some new ideas, some new technologies, and some of the evidence that was sitting right in front of them with fresh eyes was followed, and it was able to be led to this gentleman who they arrested a little bit ago. We don't know much about.
Wait. So the evidence was sitting there for 4 years. they replaced the agents who were working on the case with new agents looking at the same evidence, and in 3 or 4 weeks, they end up getting an arrest. Well, now I got to turn my attention at these guys who were working on this. There's only 2 excuses: incompetence or compliance. Those are the only 2 things. If it's number A or letter A, then you got to get rid of them. If it's letter B, then we're looking at even a bigger conspiracy. There's no letter C here. You've been sitting on this information for years, 4+ years. You're removed. New guys come in and start looking around. The new guys very quickly start zeroing in. So you're either incompetent or you're complicit. There's no other explanation. Neither of those are good.
His ideology or his intentions or his motives yet. And one of the things that FBI officials stressed with me this morning is that this is really the beginning. The arrest is the beginning of trying to understand how this operation was conducted, who's behind it, whether there are more conspirators or whether this is a lone wolf. Still all of that to be determined, but a really extraordinary effort. Almost 5 years later, with a fresh set of eyes and a different approach, the FBI that couldn't solve the case for 4.5 years solves it. Very much like the way the Charlie Kirk investigation occurred in the first few hours. There were a lot of FBI agents in old guard that didn't want to put the suspect's photo out, but Kash Patel and...
That sound really suspect to you? Is it just me? Your spidey senses start to like, what's going on here? You actually hid the information for 4 or 5 years, and new eyes begin looking at things and they're finding out. How about we start telling the panicins and the nobody's doing nothing crowd to shut up? Because it seems to me, not just with the pipe bomber, but probably a whole lot of investigations, there are people inside that department who are obfuscating and causing delays and problems. If it took them 5 years to get to this point with the January 6th bomber, imagine how long it's taken for the other stuff that's probably even worse for the Democrats. And then I'm not implying that this guy's a Democrat. He might be a crazy MAGA person or something. Not. But in any event, if you've got 5 or 6 years to work on something and you just can't come up with the answers, then the new guys come. There has to be some reasoning behind that. Pretty easy for normal people to see.
Gino insisted that was going to be key to getting the father to flip, and they put the photo out, the father flips, and of course you get that arrest as we see. What you're seeing is a different mentality in the FBI, and that plays out in 2 different ways. First, you see successes that we haven't seen in a while, lots of arrests, cases solved that had not been solved for a long time, other cases which could have gone on for months being solved in 33 hours like Charlie Kirk's assassin. The second part is it results in a lot of whining from FBI people who think they know what's better. And you see that even in the Miranda Devine story earlier this week. You've got these grousers and grouchers because the truth of the matter is Donald Trump ordered Patel and Bongino to break glass at the FBI. They broke glass. And now the FBI is doing things differently. They're succeeding, but there are people who want to focus on the whining and crying, not actually the success of what the FBI has been doing. The way they solved this case was fresh thinking.
Fresh thinking. You have to wonder also at some point that, and you've seen the people out there complaining and whining and crying and nothing's happening crowd. You have to wonder about people's motivation. What exactly are they talking about? What are they doing? On whose benefit are they doing it for? All of these different things you have to begin wondering. Because I'm going to draw a parallel. I want you to stick with me on this parallel. The people who say, and I posted something earlier, let me see if I can find it. There was something who was it? I believe it was Laura Logan. And Laura Logan said something, and it really made me wonder as soon as I saw it. And I wanted to show this to you because it's a long, drawn-out post. And I like Laura, Logan, and what she said here. But here, let me get to it because, okay, this is it here. I read this, and I went, people on X are are in essence saying President Trump is an oblivious ignoramus. Because yet that's the only thing that can be said right now, is he's stupid, he's ignorant, and he's completely oblivious to everything going on. She writes this post, and it's rather long. We can just go over a little bit of it. President Trump, after months of waiting, watching, investigating, firsthand reporting, it appears increasingly obvious you are being set up to fail, and there will be no coming back from this if you don't stop it now. The establishment seems to have its hooks in your admin, and they are sabotaging your efforts, blocking it. Stop me if you've heard this before. And on and on and on. People on the outside telling the world that they believe President Trump is being blocked, bamboozled, scammed, deceived by people around him. And he can't possibly see it. He's blind to the fact that people are lying to him. I can tell you they're lying to you. I'm on the outside looking in. I've talked to this person, and I have to tell you, they're sabotaging you. Is President Trump an ignoramus? Do you honestly believe that President Trump is an ignorant, oblivious fool? And I keep dialing it back over and over to that one thing. Do you not realize that he knows if he fails, they're going to put him in jail for the rest of his life? They're going to take his businesses, take his property, go after his children, go after all of his business associates, his golf courses, everything. Do you not believe that he knows that? So, from that premise, every single one of these articles that you read, every single missive that these people post, hey, you're being sabotaged. You have no idea what's going on. What they're really saying is President Trump's an ignorant, oblivious person. So if you put credence into what these people say, as some of the people in the comment section, oh, Barry, yeah, you can tell. Well, then you are saying that the man in charge is no different than Joe Biden. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. He has been bamboozled to the point where he's just walking around the White House wondering where he can find anybody to tell him the truth. Is that what you believe? Because in order for you to believe this, you have to believe he's an oatmeal, mapo, creamed rice eating fool. And then some of you got Mike Barry, but Laura Logan and all these people are saying this. It goes back to the source. If that person is saying this, then they are effectively calling the president that you voted for out of his game. He doesn't know what's going on anymore. These reporters on the outside, they're the ones who are talking to sources. And so I'm going to ask you right now, do you believe that President Trump is off his rocker? Do you believe at this point that President Trump has no idea what he's doing and he doesn't understand that he's being corralled, manipulated? Insert the word there that you want to, because that's what you would have to believe what people are saying. There's no other way. He's not smart enough to know what's happening. And there's nobody in his inner circle that he can trust. It's only these outside people who have opinions about what's really happening, what's really going on. I don't presume to say that. In addition to understanding the number one criteria, that he knows what'll happen if he fails, there's a number two criteria that nobody talks about. Nobody. President Trump didn't drop into Washington, D.C. He didn't come down the escalator as a complete buffoon. If you've never been to New York, let me just tell you a little bit about New York. As you're going through New York, there are big giant buildings that weren't there that have his name on them. Big giant buildings. There are buildings in Chicago. There are buildings in Washington. There are golf courses. There are all kinds of projects around the world that have his name on them. And when you're saying, well, nothing's happening, I want you to look at things from the perspective, the purview of a real estate developer. And I understand many of you probably have never developed real estate. But let me give you a little insight into how a real estate project comes together. Somebody, somewhere, will see a plot of land. And that plot of land will strike somebody's eye. And as they're looking at that plot of land, whether it be vacant or have another structure on it, they think, you know what would really go well here? I think if I built an 80-story tower here, I could seriously profit. I could really make some money. But don't tell anybody, because we don't want anybody to know what's going on. We need to try and put our plans together first before we come public. Because if I tell people, hey, I'm going to buy that land and I'm going to put up an 80-story structure, everybody and their mom is going to try and interfere with you. Everybody. They're even going to try to buy it underneath you. They're going to try to buy the property next door. They're going to do anything they possibly can to either create subterfuge or profit off of what you might be doing. Done it myself. Hey man, there's a McDonald's being built right over there. What if we bought that pad? Because if McDonald's is going there, Burger King might want to go across the street. So if we know that there's a McDonald's happening over here, let's contact the real estate development office of Burger King and Wendy's and Chick-fil-A and see if they want to, hey, we got this pad and you might want to build it. It's got built-in traffic, blah, blah, yada, yada. And you might make some quick, good money just because you got there before the real estate department of these companies showed up. Just a little backstory there for you. So as you decide you want to build this 80-story tower in, I don't know, January of 2025, first thing you got to do is figure out, can we buy this, and what kind of plans can we put together? And so we buy, before we even go to contract, we say, does it work? Do we have our projections? Do we have all the information, the environmental studies? Do we have all this that says, if we can get it done, let's do it? And so you're going to spend months, if not years, looking at all the data to determine if that makes sense. And oftentimes you may do a lot of that before you even put a contract on the dirt. And then when you put the contract on the dirt, then you do the surveys and do all this crap, and you have your architectural plans, and then you got to go to the city. And then the city goes, we're going to need this in triplicate, 16 copies of this, and 18 copies of this, and they're going to tell you the package they want. And submit all that, and we'll get back to you in July. Done it, been there. Never built an 80-story tower, but I can tell you, just coming into City Hall with an idea, you're getting these $50,000 a year idiots telling you what you can and can't do, and you got to kind of keep your mouth shut because they can screw you up. Robin and I right now are getting ready to put an enclosure on our pool. We want the place where we just moved, we want to build an enclosure. We started working on it when we brought the contractor out and said, hey, go ahead and measure and do whatever you got to do. Let's go ahead and do this. Well, it is now, as I look on the calendar, December. We started in September. It's been 3 months, and we don't even have the permits yet. And then he's telling us once we do have the permits, we've got to do all that. I'm like, dude, how long is it going to take you to build this? 3 days. It's going to take us 6 months to get approval, and then it's only going to take you 3 days to build it? Yeah. When you're talking about the housing stuff and what's wrong, that's what's wrong. The contractor's like, I could have this up in 3 days. But we got to go through all this stuff. I could go for another hour telling you all the things you have to do to get a real estate development approved. The parallel I'm trying to show you is, if a guy understands, then his team understands, I want to build this 80-story building, and it might take me 12 months to even get the permits. And then it's going to take me years to build it. And people are looking at, and nobody's really fighting me. But I know it's going to take this long. And at the same time, you're in the parallel here is you want arrest, you want this done, you want that done, and you got to go through the permitting process. It's a different permitting process, but it is a process nonetheless. And yes, it can take this long or longer for that process to take place. What's your evidence, Barry? Well, my evidence is today. If it took 5 years, 5 years, for whatever reason, 5 years, to find out what somebody in a hoodie dropped off this little thing and stuck it under a bench, that's all that person did. That person walked in with a hoodie in the cover of night and dropped off a bag under a bench, and it took them 5 years. 5. So spare me the Trump doesn't know what's going on conversation. Spare me the entirety of the BS of nobody's doing anything. Spare me the insanity of we need to get some arrest. Now you have a foundation, I hope, maybe you don't believe it, but now you have a foundation on how long it takes just to do something. Me, Little Barry here in Boca, is going to take me 6 to 7 months just to get the permits to put up a frickin' screen enclosure. Well, Barry, that's different. That's not legal. It's worse. See, that argument doesn't hold any weight either. You got to think about it. If it takes somebody years to build a tower, if it takes me 6 months to put up a screen enclosure, I'm not looking to put anybody in jail for the rest of their life. It's going to take time. And now if you're comparing it to what they did to Trump, you can't. They failed. And I think people got, twisted based on the fact of what you saw happen with him. Oh, they railroaded him, they shoved him, and nothing happened. He's a president. They didn't put him in jail. They tried, they failed. I don't want President Trump to fail. I want President Trump to come in with cases that are ironclad, that they can't refute. Well, Barry, it just happened with Comey and Letitia James. No. It didn't happen. The evidence was not refuted. They said that Lindsay Halligan, she didn't have the right certifications to even file the case. She didn't have the permits. But the plans are still in effect. Nobody said the plans don't work. They said she's not a licensed contractor. We're not going to allow her to build this case. All right, so we got to go find another contractor. That contractor didn't work. Okay, we got another contractor. Now we're going to file it all over again on Comey and Letitia James. The parallels between the business world and political world are not as wide as people think. If you know what it takes to build an oil rig out in the Gulf of America, can you imagine all the different permits you need for that? So now you're talking about people who actually don't want you to build it. They don't want to go to jail. They've got defense attorneys. They got the highest priced people in the world. They got insider stuff. They got politicians behind them. How long do you think that takes when you got to go through that kind of a headwind? Yet, you got people out here saying Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, he's being railroaded. The establishment is after him. He's not going to do it this way. The midterms are lost. I'm tired. It's so hard, even in our little chat here, it's hard to talk to people when they have that kind of mentality that he doesn't know what he's doing. Because if he doesn't know what he's doing, I wasted my time, you're wasted your time, and we better go take care of our family because this country would be screwed. So if you think He's not doing anything. If you think Pam Bondi is terrible, if you think Kash Patel is terrible, if you think President Trump completely hired the wrong people and nothing's going to happen, well, then you shouldn't be on Twitter. You should be doing everything you possibly can to build a bolt hole and make sure your money and your foundation is safe, because you're done. You don't have another bus coming. This is it. You're going to be standing on the side of the road. So if you believe all this stuff, if that's truly what you believe, prove it. Get off of Twitter. Go find a mountain in Montana. Dig a hole. Bring all your money with you and your family. Bring some seeds, because that's what you're going to need. There's no other choice. So if you want to jump off this train, understand the alternative means you're screwed. You are absolutely done. Doesn't even matter how much money, how many clicks, how many views you get, you're done. I'm not throwing in the towel. I ain't going to be like that. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin. And Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I'm thinking that the schedules have been completely screwed up, because here's what's going on right now. So that's the Rwandan guy, and he must be heading to the place where they're going to be holding the ceremony. They're not doing the ceremony in the White House. They're doing the ceremony, I can't tell which building this is, but it's got a whole lot of people in the audience. Those of you who are looking at time, you can see at 12:40 right now, and they haven't even started the signing ceremony. So you know they do the signing ceremony, and then when they do the signing, they often hold up the different things that they sign, but they speak and they talk, and then of course they may take questions, I don't know, and then you're not going to do all that in the next 20 minutes. So I don't know what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are going to do. Are they going to wait, or are they going to push forward and try to get their stuff done simultaneously? So we're going to have to watch. Again, this schedule is just moving so fast with so much stuff going on. All right, so let me go here to talk some more about the, what do you call it, the pipe bomber.
There is a suspect that is in custody for the pipe bombs that were placed at the DNC and I think the RNC, both on January 6th, the night before January 6th. This is a photograph that they have here. Now, this is 5 years on.
Yeah.
So what do you think the break in the case might have been?
You know, it's really hard to say, but whatever it was, you're going to have these questions of why now? What's been going on for the last 5 years? Now, unless you have something where somebody came forward or something else broke and they got some evidence that they didn't have, you're going to say, were they pressing all along here? Why now? We both know this is going to be heavily politicized, right? Because it's on the eve of J6. Is it tied to J6, et cetera? The thing that I find interesting is that there's reporting out there over the last couple of weeks, and it was rumored online, so a lot of us didn't give it too much credit because it wasn't corroborated yet, but that they had identified this person through the gate. That is the way the person walked. That technology.
All right, so many people have asked me that, because you remember it was Glenn Beck, I believe, who broke that story about that Steve Baker has analyzed the gate and they figured out it was a woman. In fact, they actually named a woman who is now suing because it wasn't that woman. As you watch the video, as that person sauntering down the alley who didn't seem to have a care in the world, it kind of looks like a woman and how a woman would walk. A guy doesn't know, but who knows? They got this other guy arrested. Was he involved? Did he buy the stuff? We don't know.
Come a long way, never mind with the AI overlay. And that kind of a thing, maybe it's not enough to say I got probable cause, but it's a pointer. I'm looking to see if it's that or if it was some other mechanism, but this will
very
be
interesting. We were making the comment with David Spunce reporting earlier this hour that it seems to me, and I don't want to speak for Dana, but you had to get a tip from someone.
Yeah.
Because the identity of this person is well conceived.
Yeah.
So maybe identify the hood, maybe the backpack, maybe there's something else on the.
All right, so think about that for a second. If all of a sudden they got a tip, that means they've had somebody else that they've been squeezing for who knows what and has come up with this supposed tip. And if this tip led to this arrest, then it's probably conspiratorial. I don't mean in terms of conspiracy theory, meaning it was a conspiracy to do this. If somebody knew about it and they didn't tell anybody, and this can get really deep, but we're not going to know until we still may not know once they give us the press conference.
There was a lot done apparently with the sneakers. The sneakers were relatively rare as these things go, and so they did a deep dive. I just happened to notice about the sneakers and if they were sold in the Washington, D.C. area. And you can backtrack a lot. We had a case one time we found somebody in Hawaii relative to a backpack that he had bought. So you can do this kind of stuff if you have the investigatory muscle. Maybe it takes a long time. Maybe the sneakers end up being a brick. We'll have to see. But fascinating that after 5 years, this is a big win. Let's see if it holds up. You got to make sure that you got the right person, innocent until proven guilty. But if they have nailed this 5 years on, after all the speculation and the political machinations, this is a big win for the FBI.
I love how
Big win. Big win. But we don't know if we won yet. We just know that something has happened finally after 5 years. Is the same person who fingered the bomber talking about other stuff? Were they involved in doing different things? At the same time, we've got Patrick Byrne and Emerald and General Flynn and all kinds of things in Venezuela. Right now, this country, as President Trump said it, we're at a tipping point. We are definitely at a tipping point. Something is about to break. I don't know what. The Democrats look freaked out. The Democrats look like they're losing their absolute minds. The entire thing that's going on in Minnesota, that's huge. $100 billion being stolen. The Somalis doing whatever they want. People having 20, 30, 40 Social Security numbers. And people had to have known. Again, it took probably, and it's going to take that long to go through. Can you imagine? I give you 30 or 40 Social Security numbers, and I say, hey, Bob, or about SV, I want you to dig into these 30 or 40 Social Security numbers, and I want you to find out all of their banking information. I want you to find out where they've gotten deposits from, what banks got the deposits, where they originated from, what was the money used for, did it have a remittance, were they also getting food stamps, are they on Section 8, how long have they been on Section 8, how long have they been getting SNAP benefits, and get back to me with the report when you can. All right, here comes the other, not Rwandan guy, this is the Congo guy, or vice versa. Excuse me, I don't know my African flags, but one of those was Rwanda and one of those was Congo, and they're now being taken over to the venue where they're going to sign the peace agreement. It's 12:46 right now. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are supposed to do 1 o'clock. I hope we don't get into a situation where we gotta take one or the other. if that occurs, here's what's going to happen. If Pam Bondi goes on at 1 o'clock, which I'm pretty sure President Trump said, hold your horses, let me get done with this. But if for some reason that didn't happen and they have both of these at the same time, I'm going to go jump to the pipe bomber press conference. I think that takes a little bit priority over Rwanda and Congo. I could be wrong. You guys may in the chat say, no, hold that. And so so I'm going to make a executive decision here. We're going to jump with the Pam Bondi presser if that comes first, and then we'll tape and show the signing of the agreement at whenever it happens or afterwards. But I don't know what's happening. I'm playing it by ear. SV's going to be texting me, I'm sure, and he'll be telling me what, because I've got all the different feeds up. We're checking to see what exactly is happening, at what time, who's doing what. Pretty crazy day, and it's only 12:45. So anyway, as I was saying to you, as I'm tasking SV with the Social Security numbers, that's just one set. Now I got to give Ashley 50 of them, do the same thing. And I got to give Joe 50 of them because there's hundreds of these fake Social Security numbers. Where's the money been going? Who's been getting it? How long they've been getting it for? What they've been using it for? Where's it going? And then you've got people online going, I haven't seen anything yet. Nothing's happening. There's so much happening. That's the problem. There is so much happening. People are focusing here. I'm pretty sure the people who feel the heat, the Bunsen burner under their ass, they know something's happening. Because once you start poking around in people's lives, they know what's happening. They can feel the heat underneath their seat. The problem is they can't do anything about it. They can't do a damn thing at this point. Whatever Trump is going to do it, when he's going to do it, how he's going to do it. You don't know, and I don't know, if one of the people that they're possibly going to do something to isn't the one who said, okay, I got something for you. What? I can give you the pipe bomber. Okay, tell me about the pipe bomber. We have no idea. We have no idea. Only thing we know is that it's been 5 years. We don't know if somebody else who's being squeezed, let's even say it was Letitia James. Hey, I know I screwed up. You're going to have to be a little bit lenient on me. How about if I give you the pipe bomber? Letitia, nah, you tried to screw me. Nope, not going to take it from you. I'm going to put your big ass in jail. But there might be other minor, not as high profile targets who don't want to see the inside of a prison and have said, I can get that for you. I can give you that information. Is that possible? Absolutely. Will we hear about it? Nope. I doubt it. They're not going to tell you who the stool pigeons are. Not going to happen. So just, at this point, get a big ass bag of popcorn and just keep watching. Something's going on. We don't know what. There's different fronts. Venezuela, Space Force. It's just incredible what we're seeing go on at this point. Here's another report on the pipe bomber.
It says it's now captured the person they believe placed pipe bombs outside both the RNC and DNC headquarters in Washington. This was the night before the U.S. Capitol was attacked about 5 years ago. David Spunt, working his sources, got more now for us in Washington. And David, hello to you.
Hello, this is a big deal, Bill and Dana. It happened January 5th, 2021. A mysterious person covered from head to toe placed pipe bombs outside both the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee here in our nation's capital. We don't know the suspect's name or anything about this person other than the fact this is a male that was living.
This was from earlier. We now know the person's name, and they're surrounding his house is Brian Cole. And at this point, everybody who can is searching everything Brian Cole related. Be careful with that, too. That's a very common name. I even knew somebody at one point in high school named Brian Cole. It wasn't him. Oops.
in Northern Virginia, arrested at some point within the last 90 minutes, now in federal custody. I'm told we'll know more as the day moves on, and as soon as we have the information, of course, we will break in with that. But just this past October, a couple of months ago, the FBI put out this enhanced video and pictures of the masked suspect planting pipe bombs near a bench outside the DNC in Washington on January 5th, 2021, the night before the attack on the U.S. Capitol. The suspect then placed the same type of bomb outside the RNC minutes later. The suspect, as I said, wore a face mask, hooded sweatshirt, glasses, gloves. But using FBI technology, agents told the public the suspect they believe is around 5'7". We'll see, Bill, if that rings true once we get an identity later today. Agents say the two bombs were placed between 7:30 and 8:30 at night. The bombs did not detonate, but this is important. They were viable. They could have hurt people. They could have killed people. Those bombs were discovered the next day. Over the past 4 years, agents visited 1,200 homes and businesses, conducted more than 1,000 interviews, reviewed approximately 39,000 video files, went through 600 tips. It's notable the reward, Bill and Dana, was $500,000, $500,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of this person. It's unclear if perhaps a public tip came forward and prompted the FBI to arrest this person. But again, we know that there is a person in custody.
So it's very interesting that, when people say what happened or what could have happened. Hold on, let me put this up so you guys can see. Let me kill the music while they're or am I just hearing it? Wait a second. Number 2. Yeah, I don't want YouTube to get problem because Sting and the Police are playing in the background. But this is the stage where they're going to be doing the peace agreement signing, so I can let you guys see it. Again, if they go to the press conference, we're going to have to jump to that. That's more pressing at this point. But what the guy from Fox was saying, I found very interesting, is now we know the bombs were actually viable. They could have blown up. They could have killed people. So that takes it to a whole different realm. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a copycat. It was actual, at this point, they're going to probably bring charges against the guy. Maybe attempted murder? I don't know. Terrorism? We will obviously see what those charges will be once they bring them. In addition to all that, he mentioned the $500,000 reward. Are we going to hear at the press conference that somebody claimed 500 ducats, 500,000 ducats? Did somebody say, I know who it is, pay me, I want $500,000? Possible. Who knows? We don't know. But there's a reason, and a lot of people today, the question being asked is, why now? Well, the why now part, the why now part is something that may come up in the press conference and it may not. So they're all getting ready at this point, the dignitaries. And I'm looking at the other feed to see if the press conference comes up. Right now they're at the same time. And this is supposed to be, actually this was supposed to be at 12. The press conference was supposed to be at 1. And it's obvious at this point that one or two of these things is going to get backed up. So we will see. And so I hope you guys are okay with us doing this on the fly and trying to figure out which of these two events that we are going to see first and what's going to happen. Let me see this. Was this another one?
This is a big deal, Bill and Dana.
Okay.
It happened.
No, we just looked at this one. I want to show you this one.
January 5th, 2021, a mysterious person covered from head to toe placed pipe bombs outside both the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee here.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that back because I didn't know that. Did you know in the last 5 years that it was both the DNC and the RNC that had these pipe bombs? Because that's another twist. Okay, I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat here. Okay, I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with something here. You guys can begin looking at this as well. If there was a bomb at the DNC and a bomb at the RNC, was this person just completely out of his mind and hated America? Was he Venezuelan? I don't know. There seems to be something happening in Venezuela. There seems to be this narco-terrorist dictator who's trying to do everything to save his rear end. Did Maduro have some information? Hey, don't take me out. Don't bomb me. I can tell you something. Don't know. Is it probable? Maybe not. But could it have been that? Something caused something to break in the last 24 to 48 hours. Not just where they had a suspect. See, the part that I wanted to play that and get it again, it wasn't that they had a suspect. They already put this person in custody. They already got him locked up. So they went from, we got the information, to let's get the warrant, let's go ahead and pick him up before anybody knew anything. Simply amazing. All right, looking at both, actually one stage. We'll see if the other one goes live here. I'll be back in probably like 60 seconds.
It's genius. It's pure genius. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it.
Why do so many financial experts call silver the most undervalued asset today? Because silver is essential to the future. From solar tech and electric vehicles to the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Demand is rising fast, and yet silver is still trading at a bargain. With billions pouring into AI, silver prices have only one place to go, and that's up. In fact, silver may be the most overlooked asset class in financial planning. The opportunity for silver is well documented. The market for silver could double or even triple by 2026. You see, I believe in hard assets like this bar of silver. You can hold it in your hand, you can put it in your IRA, you can put it in your home safe, and relative to gold, it's very affordable. That's why I urge you to call my friends at Lear Capital and get their free report, The AI Revolution, and see why silver prices could be set to soar. Call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. But don't wait. We all know. We've seen it. The government can print lots and lots of dollars, but they can't print silver. All right, so we have another development in this Brian Cole thing. I don't know if they found something, but they have released the canines.
The scene, one of the things we also don't have right now is sound because of the distance, obviously, of the cameras. So, you know, if they are evacuating this neighborhood, what that would look like, because now they've surrounded this house and we're able to see this from our aerial capture of this live. So, you know, Carly, many times when we're covering breaking news like this, well, the dog is showing some activity, but again, we don't want to speculate.
Yeah, we certainly don't. It is really interesting to see this home that we're looking at right now. Woodbridge is a suburb of Washington, D.C., about 20 miles outside the city. It looks like a beautiful home, and you do not know what the political motive was here, considering the fact that these pipe bombs were placed outside both RNC and DNC headquarters. This was a huge deal at the time of this taking place, and it led to a lot of speculation in the aftermath of January 6th over whether or not this was a conspiracy. But I remember Kamala Harris at the time had...
They got guys in hazmat suits, so I don't know what they're expecting when they enter this house.
to be evacuated from the location that she was in. And now we're learning that he is in his early 30s right now, which would have put him at a...
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. They bring the dogs out. They got the hazmat team out there as well, surrounding this guy's house. You know, there's people probably, if they know the area, are doing overheads, trying to find the house, find the address. With Google Earth right now, if you know Woodbridge or if you recognize that property, there are people going to be digging in who owns the property, how long have they owned the property, who they buy it from, who they get finance for. These are all the things that just you get topically. Never mind once you start digging down and go in further. So they're still setting up at this point for the signing ceremony. It's 1 o'clock straight up. I'm not really sure which one they're going to do next. Do first, but we will see which one actually happens versus which one gets pushed back. Maybe Pam Bondi pushes her back because she's going to wait until the president gets done with what he's going to be doing. Let me see what they're showing here. They're just showing more of this guy's. We got it says
Suspect
update.
believed to have left 2 pipe bombs in Washington in 2021. And right now we are waiting leaders of the DOJ and the FBI to announce the arrest and give more details. We are on it. Welcome, everybody, on this Thursday afternoon. Hello and welcome. I am in New York. Good to be with you, John.
Good to be with you as well, Sandra. I'm John Roberts in Washington, and this is America Reports. It is an investigation that has lasted almost 5 years now. The FBI working with just this grainy surveillance video showing the suspect placing the explosives on the 5th of January, 2021. The 2 pipe bombs were planted near the headquarters of the RNC and DNC in Washington.
I got to ask a question. Did you guys know that the DNC was targeted as well? Is that new information? It's new information for me. I thought it was just at the RNC. I didn't know it was both of them. So you guys can leave in the chat and let me know if that is something that's new, or did you know it as well that it was both, indeed, both RNC and DNC. I did not know that. I want to show you something, and it's a little bit different than what's being talked about right now. Yesterday, Benny Johnson had Senator Ron Johnson on his house. Just going to take a break from this because I want to give you some food for thought here. Anybody else find this interesting? So Emerald Robinson put up, guess what Senator Ron Johnson was briefed on 1/4/2021. 1/4/2021. One day before the pipe bomber. He was briefed before the election was certified on 6th, along with Senator Kramer. So when Ron Johnson says we don't investigate voter fraud, he's admitting that he didn't do it. And I'm thinking, is this coincidental that they were talking on July 4th, the pipe bomber was on July 5th? I want you to listen to this and see if you guys, if it sounds a little squirrely to you.
There's massive fraud. I mean, I'm listening to apparently a former CIA operative talking about how they shave votes, not in Democrat counties. They'll shave a few percent using the machines in Republican counties where people aren't really suspecting it, where the vote total should have been 60%, but it's only 58%. Again, I don't know how they do it exactly, but I do know that we don't even come close to investigate voter fraud or welfare fraud. We don't put anywhere near the amount of effort that we should be putting into this.
Well, Senator, you just broke some huge news there. You're listening to do you have a CIA whistleblower that is saying that they're...
and again, is this true? Again, you hear all these things. This is on podcasts, some apparently CIA operative who's, let's face it, I believe the CIA has doctored elections in other countries. That's probably indisputable.
Yes.
Those same types of operations, do those occur here in America? My guess is they do. Do I have hard evidence? No. But again, we just don't investigate it. The people, we're all harmed by it, but
What? If I was Benny there, maybe it shocked Benny, I would have jumped. What the hell do you mean we just don't investigate it? Those are the words that just came out of his mouth. Those were the words that he just said. We just don't investigate it. You're telling me at the highest level of our government, a presidential election, what could be more pressing? What could be more prominent? What could be a higher priority than getting the presidential election correct? Everything else doesn't matter. There is no higher priority. Bring everybody to the table. It's all hands on deck. And he just said, we just didn't investigate it. Now we're finding this out here. Listen to this again. Listen.
No. But again, we just don't investigate it. The people, we're all harmed by it. But for example, the losing candidate, they don't have the funds. We don't have the time yet to certify these elections.
What? The losing candidate doesn't have the funds. We got to hurry up and... No. The losing candidate was Donald Trump. What do you mean the losing candidate didn't have the funds? Of course he had the funds. And why did you have to hurry to certify it?
So election fraud goes largely uninvestigated.
I'm sick to my stomach. Election fraud goes largely uninvestigated by a well-known sitting senator. Not some freshman, not a rookie. A well-known sitting senator says, we don't even investigate it. Not my job, man. You're telling me a presidential election is suspect at best, and your excuse is you don't have the funds, and it just basically doesn't get investigated.
Again, in your earlier segment, 500 phony registrations. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I don't know whether to look at that and say, oh my God, what in the hell has happened in this country? You don't know if the losing candidate has the money. Since when would money be the issue in making sure that our elections are secure? And you got people worried about arresting Adam Schiff. You got people worried about Liz Cheney. And we got our sitting senators saying, yeah, we can't do anything. I hope that this begins to put a different perspective on things. That you're starting to, you sit back and look at people, out there being crazy and talking about stuff that doesn't matter. And talking about, I must be right because you can't prove that I'm wrong, if you know who I'm talking about. I made some allegations, but nobody's telling me I'm wrong. But because you can't tell me I'm wrong, I must be right. And you got people paying attention to that. And you got sitting senators saying, yeah, we don't even investigate it. If I was President Trump and I heard him say that, I would have spit up out of my mouth. You don't have time? You don't even investigate it? No wonder the media says it doesn't exist, because it's like Bigfoot. You guys don't even go into the woods and look. It's disgusting. It just absolutely, utterly crazy and disgusting. Wow. That's something. All right, what else I have here? So burn some time here while we're talking about this. I don't want to do that because some of this stuff is... All right, so... You guys might like this.
Yeah, Bill, good morning to you. Federal agents are now on the ground in the Twin Cities, focusing on the Somali community and anyone who is in the country illegally. We know they have been stopping some folks out on the street asking for their IDs, also going door to door looking for specific individuals. All of this, as you mentioned, comes after those massive fraud schemes in Minnesota that involved mostly folks from the Somali community, fraudulently charging the state more than $1 billion for social services that were never performed. When Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who's become the face of the Somali community in Minnesota, was asked why the fraud got so out of control, she said this.
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Yeah.
People ask me why I laugh, because I don't want to cry. I've cried on this show. I don't want to cry. Who lost $1 billion of your taxpayer money? Why the hell do I need to show up on April 15th then? I can just say, hey, shit happens. Just let you know. I can't really tell you all the stuff that happens, but hey, really?
President Trump and Republicans are railing against Governor Tim Walz, and the House Oversight Committee, which has launched its own investigation into the fraud, is now requesting documents, records, and communications from both Walz.
So now we're finding out that not only was Keith Ellison in communication with the Somali crooks, he took donations from the Somali crooks. This is getting really, really deep.
President Trump and Republicans are railing against Governor Tim Walz, and the House Oversight Committee, which has launched its own investigation into the fraud, is now requesting documents, records, and communications from both Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison after reports they and other state officials may have been warned and ignored those warnings, allowing this fraud to happen.
The state employees in Minnesota rang the bell. They blew the whistle that there was massive fraud, and yet Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, apparently turned a blind eye.
All right, we'll come back to that. President Trump has taken the stage with the people from Rwanda, so we shall jump to that, and hopefully Pam Bondi holds hers off. So let's go look at President Trump.
Well, thank you very much. Wow. This is a nice building, I have to tell you. So this is a special occasion for a lot of reasons, but number one is it's our first occasion in this building using it for peace. And it's all about peace, and it's a great honor. And Marco, you've done a fantastic job in getting it ready, but it's a spectacular building, and we all appreciate it. And very importantly, we're settling a war that's been going on for decades with millions and millions of people killed. And these two gentlemen spent a lot of time backstage talking to each other, and over at the Oval Office. We were at the Oval Office together. It was beautiful. And I think it's just a very important day. And we have other leaders from other countries. And you said such beautiful things. I'd love to have you come up. We'll finish up, and then I'd love to have you come up, and if you can issue the words that you just issued backstage. It usually doesn't work, you know. It usually never happens. They said it much better before, but you will probably do better up here. But I'd love to have you say how you felt, because it is an amazing day. Great day for Africa, great day for the world, and for these two countries. And they have so much to be proud of. And I want to thank the leaders. I want to thank you very much. It means maybe more because we are here together for the first time ever in this building. Brand new, beautiful building. I don't want to tell you how much it costs, because I hear it's a lot. Okay? They don't build inexpensively here. But I just want to thank you very much. So please sit down, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's a momentous occasion. It's truly incredible setting. It's very few places I've seen like this. In this holy season, we prepare to celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace. We have come to the U.S. Institute of Peace to sign a historic agreement that will end one of the longest-running conflicts anywhere in the world, with far more than 10 million people killed. Today, we commit to stopping decades of violence and bloodshed and to begin a new era of harmony and cooperation between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. I want to thank the two courageous leaders. They are courageous leaders. They really are courageous leaders, great people. President Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and President Kagame of Rwanda. They are amazing people, and they had stories to tell me that were incredible. Really fascinating in so many different ways. Sad and beautiful, both sad and beautiful, and today makes them beautiful. I've just held really fantastic meetings with both men and representatives of other countries where we discussed the importance of upholding this new agreement. Very detailed, powerful agreement. I also want to thank several foreign guests and dignitaries in attendance to celebrate this magnificent event, including the President of Angola. Please, would you stand? And so great to see you. Thank you. The President of Burundi. Thank you very much. Great to see you again. The President of Kenya. We have the Olympics here. You know, they do very well in the Olympics, those runners. I don't know what the heck you do with those runners, but they are very good. I've been watching them for a long time. So we have the Olympics coming to the United States. You know that. Thank you very much. And you'll come as our guest. Thank you. And the President of the Council of Ministers of Togo. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Vice President of Uganda. Thank you. It's such a beautiful color. Like all these guys are wearing these dark suits. You just stand out for a lot of reasons. You're beautiful. the foreign ministers of Qatar. Thank you. Thank you very much. Say hello to my friend, a great man, and the United Arab Emirates. Thank you. Thank you. My regards, right? And the chairman of the African Union Commission, who's done a fantastic job, and thank you for all your help. We appreciate all your help. A special group of people. A very special thanks as well to Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Marco, please stand. Thank you. And thank you for putting a certain name in that building. I said, boy, that is beautiful. That blew up last night. They said, that's a great honor. It really is. On this building, it's a great honor. Thank you very much. I assume you had a lot to do with that. Just a little bit. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Senior Advisor for Africa, Masad Boulos, who's been fantastic. Thank you, Masad. All of these people, every one of them were indispensable in forging this agreement. Let me also recognize Senators Mike Rounds and Lindsey Graham. Lindsey, thank you. Mike, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Representatives Ronnie Jackson. Where's Ronnie? Ronnie is that great guy. He won his race in Texas by 48 points, right, Ronnie? So I don't have to ask if he's in any. I don't even have to endorse him anymore. It doesn't matter. Save the paper, right? Great job. Chris Smith. Chris. Thank you, Chris. Great. Good job. Trent Kelly. Trent. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the acting president of the Institute for Peace, Darren Beatty. Thank you, Darren, very much. Thank you very much, Darren. For more than 30 years, one of the worst conflicts on earth has been raging in eastern Congo. Millions and millions of people have been tragically killed, went on forever, and countless more have been displaced from their homes. Families have been destroyed. It's been a disaster. Many administrations have tried, but probably not too hard, knowing who preceded me. But they tried. It says they've tried. But we tried harder to end this conflict. But they've accomplished, obviously, they accomplished very little because the killing went on at levels that just got worse and worse. And today we're succeeding where so many others have failed. And this has become the 8th war that we've ended in less than 1 year. Such an exciting thing to do. This has been a really, because we're talking about 30 years of fighting, 30 years, much more than 10 million lives. Last June, thanks to the efforts of Secretary Rubio and Mr. Boulos, Rwanda and the DRC reached a landmark agreement to move toward peace. They started the process. I met with some of their great representatives who are here also. And we started a great process. The compact we're signing today, which will be known as the Washington Accords, everybody sort of liked that name, formalizes the terms agreed to in June, including a permanent ceasefire, the disarmament of non-state forces, provisions for refugees to return to their homes, and justice and accountability for those who have committed illegal atrocities. Very importantly, this agreement also creates a new framework for economic prosperity. There's tremendous wealth in that beautiful earth. It's beautiful earth. But it was stained badly with blood, tremendous amounts of blood. But in the region that will support a lasting peace, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda have agreed to more closely integrate their economies with each other rather than fighting. And they'll be doing that. And these two gentlemen are very smart, and I think they liked each other a lot. I spent time with them. I think they like some people may be surprised. I really do. I think they've spent a lot of time killing each other, and now they're going to spend a lot of time hugging, holding hands, and taking advantage of the United States of America economically like every other country does. So they're going to do very well. But they do have some very valuable things. They're going to have a lot of money and a lot of success, and I think they're going to get along really well, so I hope so. Thank you very much. Look at them. Look at the way they love each other. Thank you. So I have a lot of confidence in both leaders. We'll keep these commitments. I know they're going to keep them and follow through on the agreement and create a much brighter future for the people of their countries and their heroes within their countries because of today. And this is a big story. And so much is being written and said. All of the newscasts have it at the top of the list. And they are heroes, and we want to keep it that way. Today, the United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody. And we'll be involved. We're sending some of our biggest and greatest companies over to the two countries, and we're going to take out some of the rare earth and take out some of the assets and pay, and everybody's going to make a lot of money. These are just two of the many new agreements related to mineral supplies that my administration has achieved this year, including with Australia, Japan, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, South Korea, and many other countries. With all of these agreements, we're forging new economic security partnerships that protect the interests of America and our friends and partners, and a core feature of my administration's national security strategy, a big part of which is the tariffs. We're taking in trillions of dollars in tariffs. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, and it's given us really great national security. We'll be paying down debt. We'll be making distributions to people, and we're really doing a job. It's amazing. I was with a gentleman, the future king of Saudi Arabia, and you've heard me say this a couple of times, but 2 months ago when I was over there, he said, and actually Qatar is represented today, and UAE is represented, and your leader said the exact same thing, different words, but the exact same thing, that 1 year ago they thought our country was dead, and now our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We have over $18 trillion, that's just in 10 months, pledged or being invested or pledged to be invested in the United States. Think of that, 18 trillion. The highest amount we've ever had is 1.5. Under the Biden administration, they did much less than 1 in 4 years. Think of that. So they did less than 1 trillion in 4 years. We have 18 trillion in 10 months. It's going to be much more than that, too. No other country in history has ever been close, no matter what country you pick. So I want to thank you again, everybody, for your great vision. And I want to thank the people, especially the people that we named. Some of the others that unfortunately we didn't name, we just couldn't do that. But for your vision and for your courage, because it's made it possible to begin healing old wounds and transcending past differences and creating a future where every child of God can live in dignity, prosperity, and peace. And these are two very good men, and they're two potentially very strong countries. I'd like to now invite President Kagame to come up and say a few words. It's Rwanda. And then, if I may, President of DRC, who really is doing a great job. These are two men that are doing a great job. And again, they're so respected because of what they're doing today and the mission that they've really, I think, accomplished. And we'll see how it all works out, but I think it's going to work out really great. They want to get on to other ways of living for their people, and they're great leaders. Thank you very much. Please, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, Excellencies, heads of state and government and former heads of state, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with some words of thanks. First, to my fellow heads of state and government from Africa, Your presence here confirms that these efforts enjoy the broad support necessary to succeed. I also thank Minister of State Kulaifi, representing His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad of Qatar. The role of Qatar has been absolutely central in getting us to this point. But of course, the biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines. But when the President saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it. This conflict has lasted for 30 years. We have seen countless mediations and efforts, but none has succeeded in resolving the underlying issues. President Trump introduced a new and effective dynamism that created the space for breakthroughs. His approach is even-handed, never taking sides. He orients us toward the future, not the past, emphasizing that the dividend of peace is prosperity and investment, including from the United States. More importantly, President Trump's approach is pragmatic. The process has not become an end in itself. All of these elements filter down to his dedicated team, and here I want to single out Secretary Rubio and Masad Boulos for special appreciation. We would not be here today without their efforts. And as a result, we have the clearest and most viable path forward that we have ever had. These accords provide everything needed to end this conflict once and for all. If this agreement falters and things do not work out as they are supposed to, the responsibility will not lie with President Trump, but with ourselves. It's up to us in Africa, working with our partners to consolidate and expand this peace. There will be ups and downs on the road ahead. There is no doubt about it. Rwanda, I know, will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that. Our only objective is and has always been for our country to be safe and secure after having endured so much tragedy. We now only want to look forward in confident expectation of a prosperous and stable future. Mr. President, Excellencies, I thank you for your kind attention.
Mr. the President of the United States, Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, dear members of the delegations, distinguished guests, as we have just placed our signatures at the bottom of the joint declaration enshrining the Washington agreements for peace and prosperity, I do feel, on behalf of the people of Congo, a deep gratitude and clear hope. First of all, I would like to express quite solemnly our deep thanks to the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. I would like to thank his administration and also wish to thank the American people for the critical role that they played for the rapprochement, the closening between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. To these thanks, I also bring in all of our regional partners and our international partners who, thanks to their commitment and engagement, have consistently made this critical moment possible in the road to peace. First and foremost, we have Sheikh Yanim bin Ahmad Adani. We have President João Manuel Lourenço Gonçalves, who is the President of Angola and the acting President of the African Union. And we also have the former President of the Republic of Kenya, my brother, Uhuru Kenyatta, who I can see here in the room. These two great Africans who are at the beginning, who started the Luanda and the Nairobi processes. And beyond them, I wish to thank also all of the African leaders who contributed to help us in this struggle. And I do hope that we have, yes, reached the end. The Washington agreements are not yet another document. These represent a turning point. They bring together under a coherent architecture a declaration of principles of a peace agreement and also the regional economic integration framework to provide to the peoples of the region a new perspective, a new outlook, namely to finally overcome the cycle of violence, of forced displacements, of mistrust, defiance, in order to begin a new era of friendship, cooperation, and prosperity all shared together. For those involved, the Democratic Republic of Congo takes this solemn commitment to implement with complete sincerity all of our obligations that stem from this agreement. We will do this with seriousness, with rigorousness, and also with the constant care for peace and the security of our populations, for the unity and the integrity of our territory. We do hope that thanks with the same seriousness that the Republic of Rwanda will also respect fully the letter and the spirit of the commitments made here in Washington. We are reaching out for a peaceful cooperation based on mutual respect, non-interference, and the joint struggle against the armed groups, the end of all support to negative forces, and the beginning of fair prosperity on behalf of our two populations. I do believe this day is the beginning of a new path. A demanding path, yes, indeed, quite difficult, but this is a path where peace will not just be a wish, an aspiration, but a turning point. The Democratic Republic of Congo will fully play its part with dignity, with consciousness and consistency, and with the support of our partners. We will remain watchful, vigilant, but not pessimistic. We'll be clear-eyed, but resolutely optimistic. These Washington agreements for peace and prosperity must be for our peoples a symbol of an irreversible commitment to turn the page of confrontations and to open a new era of cooperation and sustainable peace throughout the region. Thank you.
So, if I might, my four new friends, a couple of cases not that new. Could you come up, please? Do you mind? Please. They represent so many and so well, so I just want to thank you very much. Good.
Sr. Presidente Donald Trump, Presidente dos Estados Unidos da América, caros convidados, altas entidades aqui presentes, senhores jornalistas, eu gostaria de realçar a importância desta cerimônia aqui em Washington, D.C., que vai finalmente pôr fim a um conflito que, como já foi dito, dura mais de 3 décadas. Não são exatamente 30 anos, mais do que 3 décadas. Um conflito entre irmãos, países vizinhos e irmãos.
The RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. He has been charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 844, which is use of an explosive device. This investigation is ongoing. As we speak, search warrants are being executed, and there could be more charges to come. I'm going to let our U.S. Attorney discuss that shortly. This was the work of multiple agencies working together. This morning's operation was carried out safely and successfully. We know that there are so many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority. The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies. This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight, when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process, as we have committed under this Attorney General. We are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent, and that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country, to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods, and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital, and they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington field office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The Director and the Attorney General emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track them to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing. They never let this go. Again, Attorney General Bondi, for your incredible support. Director Patel, Judge, I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake, they were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms, and I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the Assistant Director in charge of our Washington field office, Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Gonna come right back to it. Just want to let you know, Fox cut away. As soon as Dan Bongino started talking, they cut away.
Of the alleged D.C. pipe bomber is a momentous day for the American public, for the FBI, for our Joint Terrorism Task Force, or the JTTF, and our partners, the U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and ATF. We've also had a large number of other federal, state, and local departments that have worked on this investigation. And last but not least, the U.S. Attorney's Office. We all worked hand in hand to solve this investigation. This has been a long week in D.C. After the terrorist attack last week, the grit and determination of the FBI and our law enforcement partners is an example to the American public of what cooperation, partnership, and selfless service can accomplish. The amount of effort the FBI and our partners devoted to identifying the pipe bomber cannot be overstated. It is the resolve and determination of our investigators that ultimately led to the identification and the arrest of this suspect. We all know pipe bombs are dangerous, not because of the potential loss of life, damage to property, or injury that they can cause, but also because they are tools that terrorize our community. Fortunately, these bombs did not explode, although they certainly could have. But make no mistake, the alleged pipe bomber did terrorize our community. Today's actions underscore the long memory and the long reach of the FBI and our partners. I know some people had given up on finding the perpetrator, but not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect. I want to thank Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support, thank you for your passion, and thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of the investigators, the Washington Field Office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. attorney, that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive, and thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public. The American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington Field Office, and most specifically, the investigative team. Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today, and they are absolutely, totally dedicated not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead and use every resource that we have to ensure that the D.C. pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
You keep hearing the words partnership and team, and that's what we are. And we could not do this without our U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine, from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital. It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that we are today is because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible, and this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done, and get it done they did. Finally, let me say this. Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system. And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again, thank you to the incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Thank you. President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but D.C., and to make it safe and beautiful. We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to introduce Metropolitan Police Department Chief Smith.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years, the agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning. That supports include looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody. This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed. Many charges potentially to come. So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years, we all know that, and that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet, ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important, more than any other case, is this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now, thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia. So as to the evidence in the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
Thank you, General. And as I stated earlier, and as the General has already reiterated, our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when you go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who are the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there. So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant early this morning. It's ongoing. But America's safer, DC's safer because he's in custody.
Mary Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will tell you is that evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration, Deputy Director Bongino and Director Patel. I watched them from day one come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our great attorneys.
Pierre, ABC.
General Bondi, Director Patel, or Deputy Director Bongino, can you describe, was there a particular moment where the evidence is coming in and it's starting to look like progress is being made? What was the moment that you knew that you were on the road to solving the case?
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?" And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass on that for right now while we're still, obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning. This is not the end of the investigation, as you all well know, having reported on these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted. The search warrant processing scene is not even done. So we're at the early stages, so that's the only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment, and it was due to the diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and just scoured through this over and over and over and over again.
In general, was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle?
We'll just leave it generally, forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say.
Excuse me? How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't want to.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to add something to tell you how thorough this team was. That moment that was kind of like the aha moment, that wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment, and that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece of evidence that they could gather.
One more?
One more, Kelly O'Donnell and Lisa.
Thank you so much. Have you recovered the notable sneakers? Have you done surveillance of this suspect from that aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today? And obviously this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case separate from all of the cases related to what transpired on January 6th and the president's subsequent pardons?
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful. Again, you've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for itself because, again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think we're going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills are being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, our partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board. And this is an interagency win for the American people.
Radar before.
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Well, we didn't learn a whole heck of a lot. There's some nuggets in there. I guess the biggest nugget is that I would take from that is that the information they had, except for like one other little tip or nugget, has been sitting there for 4 or 5 years, pretty much ignored. Why did the Biden administration, why did all the people there, Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland, why was this not pursued? I think we're going to hear more about that in the coming days and weeks for sure. All right, so while that was going on, President Trump was still speaking. And so I'm going to configure that, and so you guys can see the rest of that before we leave today. I understand the guys from Africa were kind of slow speaking, trying to articulate. That's not their language, but obviously President Trump wanted to be there, and he kept going the entire time. So we're going to head and cover that. Before that, though, I want to talk to you about Patriot Addict and what they've been doing here for the Fanfare family. It's Christmas, and we say Christmas here. And I got an unbelievable deal for a Christmas present for you. And right now, you can get this blanket. You can get this blanket for free. The Donald Trump presidential blanket normally retails at $70 or so by itself. You can get it absolutely for free. What am I getting a text here? All you've got to do is pay shipping. It's sort of same deal as the knife. People in the, you can see the link in the description. The link in the description is all you have to go to is barryblanket.com. Barryblanket.com. You can have this huge, and when I say huge, I'm a big guy, as you know. It goes all the way around me. It's Donald Trump presidential blanket. It's very warm. Take it outside to your fire pit. Run your Yuletide logs this Yuletide season, and you can have this blanket absolutely for free or give it to somebody for Christmas. It's very warm. In fact, just doing this, I can feel the heat underneath here. I mean, it's a nice fleece blanket. Big, very big. Actually, two of you could snuggle under this thing. It's a giant blanket. And it's free. Did I say free? It is free. All you have to do is pay shipping. So the shipping on it, I'm not sure what the shipping is, but you can check it out by just going to barryblanket.com. So I'm going to take 90 seconds here, and I'm going to go ahead and configure the feed for the rest of the Congolese and Rwanda segment that President Trump was doing. I hate cutting away from the President of the United States, but that took some precedence. I don't know what to say. There are some people who still, I saw in the chat, I don't trust Pam Bondi. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust Dan Bongino. There's nothing we can do for you. There's nothing we can do. In fact, she said a nugget that dovetailed off of what I was teasing about SV and Ashley having to do in finding money. Did you hear what she said? They had to go through and search through 230,000 of the caps that went on top of the bomb. And they had to go through every single purchase. And I don't even know how wide the net was. Was it just Washington? Was it the entire Northeast? Probably a big net for 230,000 of the caps. And then they probably had to subpoena footage from all the cash registers at all the stores, wherever those 230,000 caps were. Just think for a second. I get kind of worried and pissed off when I gotta go get stuff out the trunk when Robin goes shopping, and that's just a few bags. I'm like, okay, and maybe take 4 or 5 trips. 230,000 caps. How long do you think that took? How long do you think it took for them to go, this is odd. Where do you get this? Oh, looks like we can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. All right, let's cover all the Ace Hardware stores in a 100-mile radius. What? 100? All of them? All of them. From what period of time? Let's cover it from, I don't know, October of 2020 to January of 2021. Oh, we didn't hit any hits. All right, let's go back further. Maybe start in September of 2020 and go through all that video, which I'm pretty sure at this point AI can help. AI can definitely help when you're trying to sift through things. I mean, you can put an entire 1,000-page document in Grok and get a summary of about 2 pages in literally about 4 or 5 minutes. I don't know if you trust AI to just go through all that footage. First of all, it better be digitized and you got to feed it in somewhere. But as I'm just saying this, just understand the monumental task that must take. 237 caps. And if it was the sneakers, go in and whether it's Converse or Reebok or whatever, show us all the sneakers ever put out for distribution, show us the stores where they were distributed to, show us all the cash registers in this. I don't think people realize the size of these investigations, how long it must take. And here we are, 11 months into Trump's presidency, and people are complaining that nothing's happening. If you want this stuff to stick, you're going to make sure you cross the T's and dot the I's. And if you don't trust Pam Bondi, if you don't trust Kash Patel, and you don't trust Dan Bongino, then understand who else you don't trust. Maybe it takes you to be a big man or big woman to go look in the mirror and say, Donald Trump, I don't trust you. I think you're gone. I think you've lost a step. You've lost a few miles per hour on your fastball. I think you hired the wrong people. I just can't. I can't rock with you anymore. I'm gonna have to find somebody else to vote for. So I'll see you. Yeah, because that's what you're saying. Every single person that says I don't like that person, I don't like this person, I don't trust this person, then you don't trust the person making the decisions. Or you're saying that they're lying to him, which in essence is still saying you don't trust his decision-making capacity. He's too stupid to know he's being bamboozled. That's what you're saying to yourself. At least if you don't know you're saying it to yourself, understand you're saying it to us. Understand that we see that and go, yeah, you really think he's dumb. You really think he has no idea what's going on, and that you know better, that there should be somebody else. So let's put in Alina Habba. Let's put in, I don't know, Sidney Powell. You know better than the president. Come on, people. They had to take 230,000 caps and go search those out. Just imagine how, well, you don't have to imagine. It took almost 6 years. Just for the pipe bomber. So, understand that. I'll be back and we'll put on the Congolese and Rwanda conference.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so getting ready to cut back to the ceremony of the signing. One of the gentlemen is still speaking. It ended about 10 minutes ago, but there's probably another, 30 minutes of ceremony that you're going to be able to watch. So let's take a view at it.
Felizmente, parece que terá o seu fim. Hoje, aqui em Washington, D.C. Nós procuramos fazer a nossa parte, e quando digo nós, estou-me a referir a Angola, ao Quênia e outros países também africanos. Procuramos fazer o melhor para chegarmos a este momento. Infelizmente não foi possível, mas nós só temos que agradecer ao presidente Trump por ter dado continuidade ao trabalho que nós realizamos e ter conseguido alcançar esse desfecho do qual todos nós sairemos a ganhar. Portanto, mais uma vez, o presidente Trump fez a parte que lhe compete e nós esperamos e acreditamos que é o que vai acontecer, que as duas partes, ou seja, as autoridades da República Democrática do Congo e da República do Ruanda também farão a sua parte para a implementação com êxito deste acordo. Uma coisa é assinar um acordo, outra coisa que é mais difícil, mas é possível, desde que haja vontade política, é implementar em tempo útil tudo aquilo que nós acordamos e assinamos. Parabéns a todos. Muito obrigado.
Your Excellency, the U.S. President, President Trump, dear guests, and dear dignitaries present here and press members. I would like to highlight the importance of this ceremony taking place in Washington, D.C., because this has come to put an end to a war that has been there for more than 3 decades, because it's not just exactly 3 decades, but it's more than 30 years. And this is a conflict that has been there between two neighboring countries, which have been fighting for many years with consequences on the peoples, countries, economies, and so forth. And these consequences also were felt in the Great Lakes region, which is a very rich region in Africa, rich in terms of water resources, arable lands and forests, and as well as mineral resources, which are important for the development of our region. So it's important that we've reached to this point where the agreement is going to be, has been signed, a peace deal, which will benefit immensely the whole region and will unleash the opportunities for the development of our continent, and as well as to helping the whole world in terms of fighting against the food crisis and energy crisis which the whole world is going through now. We believe that the Great Lakes region will have to play a great role in providing resources to the international community. And of course, solving this conflict will also help solve other crises, not only in the continent as we know, but worldwide. For example, the Great Inga hydro project in Congo is important. It can help to electrify the continent and consequently help in terms of developing agriculture and providing agriculture, arable lands, and abundant resources that we have that can be used. We know that Africa possesses a lot of other resources such as rainfalls, which are important for agriculture. So nothing has nothing would justify this war, but eventually the most important thing that it has come to war. We sought as Africans to do our part. When I say Africans, I mentioned countries such as Angola, Kenya, and other African countries, but unfortunately we couldn't make it. But we now want to thank President Donald Trump for having helped to reach this important milestone. We believe, once again, we have to thank him for what he has done, and what comes next now is to appeal to the two parties, that is the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, to implement successfully this agreement for the benefit of their countries, their people, and including our continent of Africa. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Trump, fellow heads of state, today's signing of the Washington Peace Accord for Eastern DRC is not merely a monumental diplomatic milestone. It is a decisive act to end a devastating conflict that has scarred the region for decades. Mr. President, what you have achieved is not only transformative, it is consequential and historic. This conflict has destroyed livelihoods, destabilized our region, and threatened the future of the entire Great Lakes African continent. Today's achievement culminates a relentless regional effort anchored by the foundational work of the East African Community and SADC, and today, this Washington process. The coordinated Nairobi, Luanda, and Washington process has created the essential pathway that brings us to this pivotal moment. We would like to extend our gratitude to President Tshisekedi and President Kagame for their leadership during this process. Reaching this point was made possible by the unparalleled consequential convening power of the United States and President Trump's resolute and focused commitment to global peace. Your clarity, Mr. President, of purpose and ability to rally stakeholders together has brought us to this point. We therefore extend our profound gratitude to President Trump, whose bold leadership has been instrumental in delivering this breakthrough. Our presence here, Mr. President, as regional leaders, is a testament of our collective resolve. We will spare no effort to ensure this agreement is fully realized, mobilizing every resource and partner to secure peace and unlock the region's immense economic promise. The protracted conflict on our continent continues to hold back Africa. Our current 3% share of global trade is stark evidence of how far this war has held us back. A peaceful Eastern DRC can unlock one of Africa's greatest economic opportunities. Our vast resources, the young talent that we have, connected through our regional infrastructure and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, can ignite an unprecedented transformation. A peaceful and integrated Great Lakes region will accelerate innovation, predictable government reduces risk, harmonized regulation lowers costs, and open borders increase trade, attracting value-added industries to our continent. For too long, Africa has exported raw materials only to import refined products at great cost. Our regional economic integration framework, Mr. President, that you have spoken to here, will build value chains in minerals, manufacturing, and agri-processing, creating jobs and creating wealth. The Great Lakes region stands at the threshold of a new era. Peace will open doors, integration will guide us, and private sector dynamism will propel us forward. In conclusion, as we celebrate progress in the DRC, we must not look away from other crises. I want to ask you respectfully, Mr. President, that in your quest for global peace, to support efforts to resolve the humanitarian catastrophe in Sudan. I thank you.
Excellence, le chef d'État et de gouvernement ici présent.
Heads of state and government, dear delegations, it is with great joy that I speak today before you in order to express my joy. There is a time for everything. There's a time for destruction, and there's a time to build. There's a time for despair, and there's a time for hope. Today, we are experiencing a great day. We are looking forward to this agreement, which will give back hope to the peoples of Congo and of the sub-region. I would like to congratulate everybody involved who made it this great day possible. We urge God to continue to guide us, to guide the steps of all people of goodwill who will become involved for its implementation. Committing oneself is something, but implementing is something else, which is why I call upon all of you, provide your contribution to actually implement this accord. as far as we are concerned, this agreement on regional economic integration, well, Burundi and the DRC already represent an economic community of the countries of the Great Lakes region. Burundi has a major role to play in order to indeed implement these existing cooperation agreements between the three states. We hope that together we'll be able to achieve a long-lasting peace and stability throughout the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I just want to introduce a friend of mine who I just noticed in the audience. He's in charge of a very small sport called here, soccer, over there, football. So nobody knows really what to call it. Johnny, thank you very much. The head of FIFA is here. And I can report to you that we have sold more tickets than any country anywhere in the world at this stage of the game, and I think we probably broke all records before you even get close. And you have a big event on Friday at the Trump Kennedy Center. Oh, excuse me, at the Kennedy Center. Pardon me, I've such a terrible mistake, Marco. At the Kennedy Center, and I look forward to seeing you there. But I want to congratulate you. No, it's really taken the world by storm. You've never done anything like what's happening in terms of ticket sales. I make a lot of enemies telling people, I'm sorry, I can't get you tickets. I just can't do it. But congratulations, you've done a fantastic job. A great leader in sports and a great gentleman. Thank you very much, Johnny. And now we're going to sign a very important agreement. Thank you.
Well, they're signing. Did you hear the Freudian slip, the Trump Kennedy Center? And he asked about Margot. I shouldn't have said that, huh? So are we going to see a name change? Is it going to be the Trump Kennedy Center as they sign a peace agreement? This is absolutely huge. This is, I mean, the other part of this, which probably nobody's going to be talking about, is the mineral deal. We're going to get so much rare earth from them. You got to think, look, big picture. What is going on here? Creating peace, and also, some people don't like to hear it, it's creating prosperity. It's very hard to have prosperity without having peace. So I'm pretty sure he went to these guys and go, hey, let me show you how you can get rich. We're going to stop fighting, and we're going to make you so rich. I bet you Howard Lutnick had something to say about that. Pretty sure.
Thank you very much, everyone. Go ahead. I know you and you're very friendly, so I'll take it. Otherwise, I wouldn't take it. Go ahead.
Mr. President, we are witnessing a historic moment for Africa. My question to you is, when we will see the withdrawal of front-running troops from DRC, and when we will see the real peace? Because even now, we are witnessing historical history of people are being still killed in DRC. Yeah. Because the troops continue there. When, because this peace to be real, the troop needs to withdraw from DRC. When we will see the
I think you're going to see very quickly, I think you're going to see things happen. This is something that was not doable, according to a lot of people, and not only is it doable, I think it's going to be a great miracle. These two gentlemen are leaders, they're great leaders, and they're going to prove that in the coming months. And
He's
years.
not standing next to a microphone, so this is the best. They got it.
Confidence that.
Oops.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's a big deal. They like it. People. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so as you're looking at him exit this huge event, many of you are probably wondering, why is this so huge? What exactly is behind all of this? I don't know if they explain it to you or if you're up to speed on this, but this is a direct assault on China. President Trump has been trying to build up our rare earth because we're going to need that with all the technology, the AI, everything else we're going to need to do. And so they were thinking it would take 10 years. That's what the people in the economists were thinking. It would take 10 years for President Trump to assemble enough rare earth minerals to basically take on China. But in a little over a year, he has, let's see, what we got? He's got deals with Australia, Malaysia, Cambodia, Japan, and now Rwanda and the Congo. They never, ever thought that he would move this quickly to assemble that kind of an arsenal of rare earth. Just think about that. I'm looking at it. Australia, Malaysia, Cambodia, Japan, Rwanda, the Congo. And if you're not understanding, rare earths and other critical minerals like that are used for the making of batteries, automobiles, defense systems, and computer chips. Data centers, AI, all of this goes into making us better than China, taking a lead in the artificial intelligence race, as they say. So look behind the scenes as you're watching this stuff happening. Oh, this is boring. It's these guys from Rwanda and Congo. And then you don't really understand the big picture. And I'm trying to give you the information behind it. I don't know if other people do that. But when he combined, there was just a small deal with Cambodia. And it was just a small deal with this country. And then it goes up and bigger and bigger and bigger. Before we go, I want to show you what's going on in New Orleans.
Shame! Shame! Shame on you! You know this is wrong! You know this is wrong! No ICE! No KKK! No racist USA!
All right, Brian Kilmeade.
Oh, they're going nuts. They are going nuts now that they're in New Orleans and they're rounding people up as well. I don't know who's controlling these people, but it's obvious at this point they have completely lost the narrative. All they want to do is fight. They can't stop the inevitable. They can't stop it. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna do super chats, and then tonight it's early enough where I can get stuff done and move to a night show tonight at 7 p.m. This was one amazing day. Thank you guys for tuning in and dealing with all this, trying to figure out the time of his event, plus the timing of the press conference, which wasn't on the schedule when we all went to sleep last night, and then it just blew up today. So, like I told you at the beginning, they told me that politics would be pretty easy. Everybody talks politics. Everybody wants to slant. You'll have your nights. You'll have your weekends off. And that's before President Trump decided he was going to take the lead here. Because it doesn't seem like we have slow days. It seems like every single day is just another day where it's like, okay, what's going to happen now? So now we're going to be going into Friday. And when we go into Friday tomorrow, what we normally would think would be a long weekend, who knows? Who knows what's going on? Oh, this is pretty interesting. Hold on.
Uniformed law enforcement agency, Mike, as you know. So this is what we do, whether it's a foot patrol like this, whether it's roving patrol in vehicles, boats. You've seen us on the river there in Chicago, or in the air. It doesn't matter. We're going to utilize any method we can to, again, go after those bad people and bad things.
So there you have it.
1.5. Love that. Gotta love that. And what you're seeing, a small part right now, is where at a minute's notice, if I'm seeing something on the screen that might, be of interest to you, I can, boom, bring it in. And so it interests me. I saw the guy from ICE walking in New Orleans, and okay, they're just going crazy. Which has to tell you something. How are these people being mobilized in these various locations so quickly? What are they doing? How are they getting out there when they see ICE? Well, obviously somebody's paying them. And we'll find out for sure. All right, so and I hope to have the new studio and everything fully set up beginning of next week. Another guy coming in tomorrow to wire up some more stuff. But most of the stuff you're going to see you won't see, because everything is in front of me. I'll take a picture of it so you see how many monitors that we have. It looks like an actual newsroom control. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different monitors where I can pull in feeds at any time. And when we start going next week, 12 to 3, it's going to be an actual newsroom type show where I can be talking about things that are happening, and we've got a cornucopia of content that we can pull in. All right, so let's look at some super chats here real quick. And all right. Thomas, thanks, Barry. Thank you. Fakowski, okay, I voted for this, aren't you? If not, please leave. Thank you. Fakowski, that's right, Barry. Explain it to the preschool level that they might get it. I don't like to be, and I don't want people to think I'm being condescending, but I've looked around enough to know that people are not getting a lot of deeper explanation. And sometimes people don't like my deeper explanation. They like the topical stuff, but I like to dig deep because that's just me. And so tonight at 7 o'clock, you're going to see me do another deep dive on something. And obviously, I'm going to be able to pull in different, depending on who's going to be on Hannity or Jesse or whoever, we can bring that stuff in. But I've got my story, my lead story. I've got a big deep dive on something that you might want, and it's historical based. You're going to have to look up. You might want to look it up. Let's see here. Fakowski, I said that one. Chiosap, they keep saying a few Somalis committed crime when all the Somalis listed their kids as autistic in order to get more benefits. Have you seen some of these people? I mean, I'm just saying, maybe they are autistic. Demon of Cybertron, we are watching a mafia documentary in real time. Oh, I absolutely love that. We are watching a giant crime syndicate that's being caught. Don't think for an instant that's not exactly what you're seeing. Sue, thank you, Barry and Mods. I look forward to your shows every day and night. I look forward to you being here. I thank you very much for tuning in. My phone's going off. SV, is that SV sending me something? Let me just make sure before I go away. SV just said he sent me a video, and if this video is what he says it is, it's going to be funny. It'll be great to end the show with this video. If I haven't seen it, and SV just sent it to me. So wait a second, this could be just absolutely hilarious. I'm bringing it down right now. I got to pull it in. It's funny because sometimes SV will send me a link to something, and they'll have a little synopsis on here's what it is. I know I need to ask you guys. You guys want to see SV on screen? Because I'm about to see, I can hit a button where he can introduce a clip. So if I say, SV says, hey, I got something for you, I can click a button, put him on camera. SV, tell me what this clip is. I'm putting you on the spot, SV. All right, so this is only 26 seconds, but it's kind of funny. Oh my goodness, this is going to be good.
True. This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people. This is shameful. And I have yet to see an elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful. He should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things go. They start with taunts, they turn to violence. So deeply concerned.
So you're telling me you could go years with calling us deplorables, Hitler Youth, Nazis, fascist, racist, xenophobes, but someone says the R word as you're saying it now? Oh gosh, I can't say. What about the F word you call us? What about the H word? How about the R word? The other R word? But you got your panties all in a bunch because somebody called you totted? Good luck with that. Oh my gosh. We have been called, you, me, all of us have been called every name in the book by these people. Nobody had a problem calling us fascists, Nazis, homophobes, xenophobes, exophobes, deplorables. And their soft skin right now is telling them, we feel offended. You called me the R word. Get the F out of here. Talk to you guys tonight. I ain't got time for that.
Where they lay heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. I ask thee to stay close by me.